Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 podcast. So we're going to be doing this again. It's been a minute since I've actually done one. I was supposed to do one with some content creators. We're going to talk about it. But we're here with Speedster again. Welcome back, Speedster.
What's poppin'? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, it's been a minute since we've actually recorded a video. Other than like we're popping each other's streams, you know, the usual stuff. But
True.
not a video. It's been a hot minute. But we're gonna be talking about a lot of the test room changes, and I haven't seen a content creator do this. Like when it comes to just overall having somebody in a call or like having somebody in a group call and just talk about all the changes. So we're gonna do that again with Speedster, and then eventually down the line, if it comes down to it, if there's people that want to join in with the podcast or type thing, they're more than welcome. They can come down for a vid or something like that and just join the call on Discord. But if you guys do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, be sure to subscribe, all that type of stuff. Check Speedster down below if you guys want to go check him out. He's a pretty good content creator. Man knows what he's doing. He's on that grind to that 1K, so we got to get him there to that 1K mark. You know, hopefully you get there, Speedster. Hopefully.
Appreciate it.
But we're gonna go in order of the topics of like, not in a specific order, just mainly just try to focus each an individual topic, and we'll break it down. And you guys will see these as like separate videos if we need to, but we'll eventually go through the topics. And we're gonna be talking about mostly everything. The only thing that we're not really gonna be focusing too much on is PvP, because we don't know that much about PvP. I mean, we don't PvP. Same thing with Beast Moon. I don't really want to talk about the Beast Moon forms. I mean, if you guys were here for that, I'm sorry, but we're mainly here for like PvE aspects and some resist and damage caps, etc., stuff like that. But the first topic is when it comes to the AoEs. I feel like this was a big change, and a lot of the community is happy. Some of them miss the old animations, and you know, what are your thoughts, Beaster? What do you think about the new AoEs?
Well, I think the new AoEs is really good improvement on us moving forward, because faster combat is always great, especially when you're farming or already know the story and questing. You just want to get through some worlds faster. You know, it's good all around, I believe.
Yeah, so there was like a lot of animations that were changed regarding for like every school. Every school got a change. So like for balance, they got Sandstorm and Raw. Death got Deer Knight and Scarecrow. Fire got Meteor Strike, which very questionable to me. But they got Fire Dragon and Rain of Fire, which Rain of Fire did need. Ice got Blizzard, very questionable at the same time. And Frost Giant, Life got Forest Lord and Rebirth, but the Rebirth animation do be looking clean. We got Humongo Frog, Orthrus, and Mystic Colossus for Myth. And then lastly, Storm got Tempest, Stormlord, and Sirens. Do you think any of those should be changed, or any aspect when it comes to the animations did you not like or you liked about? Let me know, Speedster.
I like all the changes so far. The only thing about the Frost Giant, it could be a little slow like the other effect with like the stunning. But other than that, I think all of them are good. I really am glad they improved also on the Tempest, because me and Almond was talking before about all the waves that was like unnecessary for the animation. Then they changed it. My personal favorite, however, is the Scarecrow. I just like how it looks when it takes everybody's life and then just shoot it out at you and give you all the health back.
Okay. I know that when it comes to the animations, it is test roam. They are frequently trying to change it as much as they can. Good example is Forest Lord. Forest Lord got adjusted like 3-4 times in test roam because they actually are listening, which is actually nice of them, because they're actually taking community feedback, which we haven't gotten in a long time. And it does help out the community because they basically watch us. They kind of understand what the community wants and what they don't want. And a lot of people were complaining about Forest Lord. It doesn't stay true to its identity till they eventually fix it to what it is now. And you guys will see a clip of it in the background, obviously, so you guys will see what that looks like. But we do like the new Forest Lord animation as well. And there is some issues with the current ones. Stormlord and Frost Giant, their stuns are not working properly. Before, Forest Lord would blow all the enemies, and then basically that's a stun. And the Stormlord would basically have this like shock effect, and that will just automatically stun them. But instead, they kind of copy and pasted the old 2-pip animations whenever you stun. So you guys will see in the background, obviously, what we mean. But it takes too long to stun, and it just kind of just brings back the old spell. It's still slow then at that point. The only time it's not going to be slow is if you have a guaranteed kill. If you don't have a guaranteed kill, this spell and basically Stormlord and Frost Giant are still going to be slow. It's just back to its original spell. So hopefully they fix those. And Deer Knight and Ranger Knight are amazing. They're amazing looking spells, but some spells like Deer Knight, Reindeer Knight, Dragon, Crow, those spells, you can't see who's getting what damage. For some reason, I think that camera angle is completely messed up. They should use Rain of Fire as a good reference, because Rain of Fire, you can see everyone's getting hit. You can see everyone's damage that they have taken or received, all type of stuff. And you just can't see it with those spells. So hopefully they adjust that before it comes to live round, because I really want to be able to see everyone's damage like how it originally is supposed to. So if they fix that, I think they'll, at least we'll visually be able to see, it'll be visually appealing. So hopefully they fix that, and that's not just a test realm thing, because they haven't adjusted that, because they've been mainly focusing on Forest Lord, because the community's been kind of mad about it, and then now the community likes it because it's just one big swipe, which I think a lot of people are proud about. Another thing is with Meteor, it was adjusted like 3-4 times as well. The Meteor Shake was not supposed to happen. It wasn't intended to happen, and a lot of people thought that was a part of the spell, but they obviously changed it recently. I think within the last week update, they changed that in Test Realm, and it doesn't have that intense shake, but there is still a shake. I hope they just completely scrap the idea of the shake. There's like no need of it. But overall, the spell does look quick. So hopefully they change spells like Earthquake, Power Nova, and Snow Angels, because those are the only 3 spells that they didn't change, and I still believe that they should still get a change. What do you think, Speedster? Do you think Earthquake, Power Nova, and Snow Angels should get a change in any type of way?
I'm okay with Earthquake, but it'll be nice to see an improvement on it. The only issue I have with those spells is only like Snow Angel, because Snow Angel is a long spell. So out of those, I don't want to see Snow Angel to change the most.
Yeah, because Snow Angel, it still hits everybody. It doesn't do it an AoE type hit. It's single hits, and you still have to go all the way back, because the Snow Angel is going to go all the way back to taunt each and individual enemy, which is still a long animation. And I know people are going to argue that Snow Angel doesn't need it because no one uses it, but it's the same argument with Rain of Fire. No one uses Rain of Fire, but it's still slow. So I believe they should still change that in Power Nova and Earthquake. Even though they are quick, the argument is, why did they buff Meteor Strike and they buffed Blizzard? They did not need to be updated if they're already quick. So if you're already making those spells different, you might as well make Earthquake and Power Nova quick, in my opinion. But those are like the main changes when it comes to AoEs. Pretty good animation wise. You can see that they put in effort by a long shot. They definitely put in effort, and they actually changed up the dragon animation a crap ton. They changed up, like, Frost Giant looks more Grizzleheim themed in a way, because the old Frost Giant was kind of a bit iffy. So you can tell that they've been updating the animations a lot. And Scarecrow got like a couple updates throughout the test room too. It got its obviously AoE change, but they updated the model of Scarecrow as well. So hopefully they do the same thing with Deer Knight and Reindeer Knight. Mainly Deer Knight, but not Reindeer Knight. But hopefully they upload those models sooner or later. But that's it for the AoEs. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is critical and block and the new Shadowgate change. What do you think about it, Speedster?
I'm glad that, first off, I'm glad that the critical block, the shadow of it, the shadow critical block is gone. Because to me, when this first started happening, I was very confused on why I would do like 22k to one enemy and not do it to the other enemy on hit like 1k. But then when I see it was a recurring theme and that everybody else was having the same issue, it was then known as like shadow critical block, which I'm glad it didn't change. I'm also very glad that we're also getting shadow gauge. I think for me personally, that's the best feature, because I always sit there wondering if I'm going to get a shadow pip round after round, even though it's a little bar filling up. Sometimes I don't see it move, so I'm glad to where I can actually see a percentage to where I can calculate my plans more precisely and what I need to do.
So overall, when it comes to crit and block and Shadowgate change, I've already talked about this in a video as well. When they announced it as a KI Live, I do see why they're changing critical and block and how you can actually see what your spell is going to do. So now whenever you hover over a card, you can actually see what's your chances of them critting, what's your chance of them blocking. Same thing when it comes to a heal. If you are healing a teammate, you can see what is your chance of you critting on them and blocking on them. I do like this change. I feel like there should be a way to turn it off though. If someone doesn't like seeing numbers, if someone's not a numbers person, I'd say have an option where you can turn it off, just to be more quality of a life change in my opinion. But I do like seeing the shadow gauge. If the only people who really knew about the shadow gauge and how much actual like how much you had before you had a shad is people who used to do PvP. If you do PvP on like a daily basis, you kind of just know whenever you're gonna get that shad, or if you do a lot of PvE, you kind of just know when that shad gauge is almost full. But if somebody's like a brand new player and they just got shads and they don't understand the bar, it's more understanding to them than they now can see the exact percentage and how close they are from like getting that 100% shad. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. Another thing that they changed regarding this type of PvE type standpoint or battle standpoint, they added resist and damage caps. And I know this was like a big controversial topic in some sort of scenarios, obviously for PvP, but we're not going to touch PvP. I know a lot of people would have questions regarding it. I can't really, talk about it because I don't PvP. What about you, Speedster? Can you talk about it?
I'm trash at PvP. I got like trash videos on it, so like
I can't do anything either. So in that scenario, we're not really going to talk about the caps for PvP. But for PvE, I kind of understand it a little bit. And if I'm wrong in a scenario, you guys can let me know in the chat, or not the chat. You guys can let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong in some sort of area. But I'm going based off my understanding of it for PvE. PvP, you guys can just all talk about it if you guys want. But for the PvE, they just made the caps at 200 damage. You can't go above 200 damage, and you'll see an intercept around 150. So around 150, you'll see your damage slowly falling off. It's like a curve. Rapbeard has talked about it in his streams. He's also given a hint about it on the KL Live and put the graph behind his camera on the Zoom call. And a lot of people in the chat were kind of like mad about the resist and damage caps. I thought this was only for PvP. I think a lot of people thought this was only for PvP. I was very shook that they added it to PvE because it's just bots. At the end of the day, we're just fighting bots. So hopefully they adjust that at one point one day in the future, because there might be a day when we get to some crazy damage amount, but like around 300 for example, and we can't reach that because of the gear and all that type of stuff. I feel like one day these caps will be adjusted, but just at the moment they made the cap that you can actually get as a damage is 200, and you'll notice that drop off like around 150. Same thing for resist. The max resist you can have at the moment is 125 in test realm. In live realm, just ignore this, but whenever this does come to live realm, the cap is going to be 125. You'll notice the resist fall off like around 100, but that makes sense because you can still go immune. You can still go immune in PvE fights, and people who like running those setups, going like storm immune or for certain fights, for like Fellspawn or something like that, and they need that immunity as a tank, as like an ice, as a jade, all that type of scenarios, you can still do what you like to do best and have those pets, and those pets are not going to go to waste. Those pets are still viable. But if you are doing this in PvP in the scenario, yeah, good luck. You can't have high resistant PvP anymore. You can't go immune. You can't set for people as much now, and you can still do what you want to do in PvE, which I kind of like. So to the people who are saying don't use Philosors, they're not existent anymore. You can still use a Philosor, and you can still use your resist pet till one day we get to a point where we're just too strong and we just don't need Philosors anymore. But we haven't reached that day at the moment. So all your Philosors, you can still use them. All the damage Philosors for fire, storm, all etc. You can still do what you like to do. Don't worry about the damage caps till later on, in my opinion. It's not going to affect you in any sort of way anytime soon. The next topic is the new team up feature that they added. Take it away, Speedster.
So I'm happy about this new feature that got added, because it's basically just another team up section. It's like a miniature mobile team up. So what it can tell you is the mission that the person on, also with their level, their school, and where they're located at on that world. Now, like I said, I think it's a pretty cool feature to know where other people at, and you're able, when you click on their name, to go to where they at. You're also able to text them or like menu chat them, which is really cool features.
It's really cool in a scenario because if you're somebody who does need help with the quest and you don't know if anybody has that same exact quest, if you're in a higher realm, for example, like Ambrose, where it's always populated, or Bartleby, now you have this system where if people have this on and they have the little smiley face, they're friendly, you'll have this little smiley face icon next to your name, meaning people can actually teleport to you if they're on the same exact quest. This only regards to main quest. I don't believe this counts as sort of side quest at the moment. So as for example, we have Scarlet Spellstone, who is on the current quest Knowledge. So if I wanted to, I can teleport to her. I can message this person, be like, hey, do you need help? Or can we join up? Same thing with the mini chat. If you don't have text chat, same scenario. You just have to find the exact thing. But you can even teleport to the person if you choose to. But we're not going to be doing that just because, yeah. And there are certain people who have different icons next to their names. I personally don't know what those mean at the moment. I have been asking around. Not many people know either. But to those people who do have a different icon, you're lucky, because I want to know how you guys got it. All right. But it does seem like a pretty cool scenario. If you do need help, instead of going like everyone's to Discord or like everyone's like DMs and asking for help, this is the easier way, easier system. It's like a team up feature, but just finding people who are near your quest or ahead of you a little bit, and you can ask them, hey, slow down, can I join you? Or ask them how long they're gonna be questing, everything like that, and you kind of just know every information about it, whether it be the spell or not, well, not whether it be the quest that they're on, whether it be where they're at in the world, what level they are, all that type of stuff, and their school. And it's a pretty cool feature, and I feel like those badges maybe means the more you do it, you get a different badge, something like that, and there'll probably be badges around this, and it's a pretty cool feature. Another topic of suggestion that we saw on the notes was a new Gauntlet. What do you think of the new Gauntlet, Speedster?
I'm in love with the new Gauntlet. That's going to be one of the things I'm definitely going to craft when it comes to live. Because if you don't know, I'm a huge Pirate 101 fan. I love Wizard101 and Pirate 101. And the Gauntlet is made after one of the world's and Pirate 101, known as Cool Ranch. And I really think this is a cool Gauntlet. I think they also made the boss fights very unique in there. And it's a cool little story for the Gauntlet. And I'm happy that it's being included. Now, the fight itself might need to be changed just a little bit, because some of the cheats and how it goes sometimes, they're a little bit too aggressive to where you really can't do much, especially like even when you're like with a group. Me and Almond did it before with some people, and it was still pretty tough to handle. But I think it'll probably get changed, or people just come up with methods to combat that situation.
So one annoying thing about this dungeon, and the fact that, yeah, there's 4 different gangs and you fight the gang leader at the end for those 4 different gangs in one big fight. The one issue is, even though they don't have shads, yes, they do have shad cheats, they have multiple cheats on end, it's mainly the confusion cheat. It's basically the OG medulla cheat where people used to complain about, and how you can't do anything. It's RNG based, and judging by what Ferric was trying to do on his stream, shout out to Ferric, he tried to hit as quickly as he possibly can, but every time he tried to hit, it basically confused himself and forced him to hit himself. I don't know if that's bugged or that's just luck, that out of all those like 4 attempts or 5 attempts that he's done, it hit himself every time. I don't know if that's bugged or that's supposed to be happening, but basically the confusion cheat is in a way a Beguile on steroids. Hopefully that confusion cheat gets fixed. Other than that, that fight is pretty fun to do. We don't know what some of the drops are. I've heard people got a mount. I've heard people get some other stuff. But there's not enough room for testing, because they actually got rid of the bundle, or not the way that you can actually craft it. They got rid of the tickets. They're not in the crown shop anymore. And if I want to go test the new bosses, any sort of scenario, you can't do that. They got rid of the keys as well in the shop, and they got rid of DCS's test shop and test room as well. So we can't really do much further testing, but to the people who do have the Gauntlet, such as myself and Ferric and multiple other streamers, they can just test it out whenever they can. But for other people who still want to do some testing on the Gauntlet, they have no room to, which kind of sucks, because it's his test room and we should have more time to test stuff. But it is what it is. But I think the definite change that they should do is change the confusion cheat. Definitely, if they want, they can give shads to the enemies. It's completely fine with me. But they are very aggressive, and they will try to kill you as fast as they can. And they kind of just fill up your hand. So definitely, if you guys want to check that out, there should be some gameplay in the background, and a link to the video as well. And also, I think during test realm, there was some issues where, especially for me, every time you got to the 3rd fight or somewhere towards the end, your game would just crash. I think that's just a test run thing. So if people have been experiencing that, It's mainly, I'm pretty sure, a test room thing. I think that's like a known bug at this point. It's been happening to multiple people, and where some fights where the enemies don't even spawn in. It's just mainly a test room thing. Hopefully it will be fixed whenever it comes out. And there's actually a new pack that actually comes out that's kind of themed around this bundle. And what are your thoughts about that, Speedster? There's a new pack out.
I like certain things about the pack, and I'm not really too amazed at some things. I will say it's interesting that they do get spell elements from the packs. They do get the usual reagents. I like the coat that you get from it, or the robe rather. I think the pet's really unique. I wish the wand was a little bit changed, that it had some features on it, because in my opinion, it just looked like a regular like knife, which I wish it just had some effects on it. But I really don't care for the mount that it gives. I don't think the mount is that special in my opinion. It's just like armadillo. It wasn't nothing too special for me. But I'm gonna try to get the pack. I'm gonna see what I can get from it. And yeah.
So basically, if you guys don't know, there is a new pack out. It's only on test round. I don't think it was meant to happen. I don't think this was planned in any sort of way. But there was a pack out for maybe like an hour or so, and then test round went down because they accidentally released a pack. I don't think that was planned in any sort of way, because if they did, they would put that in the notes immediately saying there's a new pack out, people should try to open it or something like that. So only a few people have been able to open the packs because they noticed it. It was tweeted out by some people as well that there was a new pack, and that's why, you know, they kind of knew it was an issue. They had to like put test realm down for a couple seconds and then relaunch and get rid of the pack. So at the moment, if you guys go to the shop right now in test realm, there is no new pack. It's basically called like the runaway train pack or something like that. It's themed around the Gauntlet, and you basically get drops. We don't know if those drops are similar to the ones that you get in the Gauntlet, but there is stuff that's in that pack. And what they're probably going to do with this Gauntlet, judging by like my scenario, I'm using this as a reference from Sinbad. So the Sinbad ones were really good for PvP, and obviously now the whole new meta is going to be the Marshmallow ones as a free-to-play player, essentially. And what they're probably going to do is make it so it's craftable like how it is, but from the new pack you can get tickets, and those are the exact same tickets to craft the Gauntlet. So it's kind of in a way, if you want to get that Gauntlet, you're kind of stuck opening packs basically till you actually can buy it in the Wizard101 shop on the website, because that's what happened with the Sinbad Gauntlet. You were able to buy it off the website with like a couple more crowns and stuff like that. So they're probably going to do that if you guys really want the Gauntlet. I don't know if it's going to be bundle themed or anything like that, but just judging by my scenario and thinking back what they did with the Sinbad stuff, they probably might repeat that whole same system, or there might just be a Gauntlet out and that we don't know, because we haven't been looking at any sort of leaks in this scenario, because, you know, it's leaks. I ain't trying to get in trouble for that. But yeah, so hopefully that's the theme or what they're going to try to go for. Another thing that they added at the beginning of test run, which a lot of people noticed right away, is the old one is back and he has a quest for you. What are your thoughts about that, Speedster? About the whole new quest line and everything like that you can do?
Now, if you know me, y'all know I'm in love with the story of Wizard101 and the whole lore aspect of it. I think the mission, I was really excited to find out that there was a new mission and that he is involved in a new mission after the experience with the whole world of Caramel. Now, I have some theories on it to where, like, maybe since if you did the quest, he basically talks about the world of Lemuria. And now with that world is like a lost world, and he's trying to figure out if it's a world or a place. Now, some people say it might be a place of a new world that's going to come up, or if it's just a whole new world in general made of lemurs. I think that's a cool idea, but I don't know if he's considered like the god over there or like the king or something over there, because when you do the final part of this quest line for that, you get a house decoration, and it shows in a house decoration that he's in the middle being praised by the lemurs. So I guess he's like the king over there. That's what I understand from it.
It's a pretty cool quest line. If you guys haven't done it at all and you guys want to see it, there's a video out, and also you guys can go test this out in test room. Test room is still going to be here. I know some people think that test room is going to be ending soon. We don't know. I see that all over my comment sections, and I see that in people's comment sections, and I see that even in my chat and other people's chats. I don't know when test room's done. All right, I don't know when test room's ending. So at the moment, if you guys do want to go test it out, definitely do the quest line. It's pretty cool. You even get the sick badge, desperately seeking Lemuria. This could be a tease. It's definitely a tease, if anything, to the new world. We don't know if it's called Lemuria. We don't know if it's called Wallaroo. We don't know if it's called Yago, anything like that. We don't know really. It's mainly just a teaser, and definitely people are going to be trying to do this in live realm, just because of the fact of the badge and everything like that. And hopefully it does come to test actual live realm, because I mean, I'm pretty sure there's people out there who are badge collectors and would like to see this badge come to actual live realm. But it's a pretty cool quest line. I highly recommend that you guys do it. Another main topic is the new key bosses. There was new key bosses introduced. It was a Grizzleheim key boss that a lot of people have been waiting for, and a new Caramel boss. So what do you think about the new bosses, Speedster?
The Grizzleheim boss is very interesting. It was a really cool fight when I did it. I did it on stream one time, and I really enjoyed that fight. On how like you handle the minion, and if you heal the minion, the boss still there, he'll just resummon and resummon. It got a little repetitive, but it was so fun at the same time. The other fight with the Marshfellow boss, it was pretty cool too. It had a lot of health, which a lot of people liked, but since they reduced it and the devs called it an error in the system, so they reduced it down to like 21k instead of it being 215k, which I personally think, since people enjoyed the 215k so much, they should just make it at least like 100k to help break even with it, so everybody around could just be happy with it.
The new Grizzleheim boss as well does drop spell elements. So if you guys are wondering, hey, should I craft my rat spin? Should I craft all that type of stuff? If I were you and you haven't gotten any of the TCs or whatever, just farm the new key bosses, in my opinion. The rates in Test Realm are obviously high, definitely high. Basically after like one attempt you can get all the spell elements, and I don't think that's supposed to be there. And I know people were asking in Rapper's chat saying, can you please keep the rates, because they want it to be easy. But that's definitely going to change. So all those like rates, insane rates that you get in Test Realm, they're not going to be coming to live realm. I'll be really surprised if they do. But you can get the spell elements from the Grizzleheim pack. They basically made that so it's droppable, and the stuff that's in those packs, like the robe, the hats, some of the wands, are dropped by the new boss as well in Grizzleheim. And it's a pretty cool boss, and definitely you get a good badge out of it as well. And you guys can test out different keys of this boss. So there's a wooden one, stone one, and then the gold one. And who knows, one day we might even have a tier even above gold. We don't know. But at the moment, gold is the highest, and you guys can farm this key boss for spellements. I think that's like the main source that people are farming this for, is just spellements. And those spellements do not include the new ones for the new spells. And we'll get into the new spells later on, and we'll talk about those. But they do not drop those spellements for those. Those are like a whole separate thing, and just mainly from the pack. When it comes to the Caramel boss, though, he was drastically nerfed. A lot of people like the HP, like 215k or something like that. Like, people enjoyed it. It was a challenge. It was something different, because in my opinion, I don't think the Caramel boss at the end was too difficult. But this actually served a challenge for Caramel, and who knew that like one of the hardest bosses in Wizard101 would be a freaking marshmallow. No one expected that. So I'm glad that, you know, they kept it for a while, and then, you know, Magnetic tweeted out that he fat fingered and accidentally added another 0. So he had to lower the HP to 21.5k, and then that boss was basically easy to solo. Like, you can, if people wanted to, they could have done solo videos. I was going to, and then I did that like recently, and then when I was going to try solo it, the health was actually increased even more. So they decreased it to 21.5, and now it's like somewhere around 55k, 50k. And he has even new cheats. So if you remember all the cheats from the past boss, you might want to like rethink how you want to play, because the cheats are definitely different. And if you blade now, you get hit with the mana burn, and you can't really solo this in a way. You probably can. I don't want to say you can't, because there are people out there who solo bosses, like Ferric and Alexander Lionheart, and a couple others too. But you definitely can solo this if you find your raid out like in this fight. But definitely, it's mainly they need to fix the Tato cheat. It sometimes doesn't work properly, sometimes it does. So hopefully that gets fixed when it comes to test or comes to live realm. And he drops a new wand, which is basically meant for PvP. what the new wand usually has, I can bring up a reference. I don't have the executive one on this, but I can basically use the Celestial Wand / Fossil Warrior as a reference. Basically, the new wand has Pip Conserve, Pierce, Damage, and Shad. So the one thing about the executives, they didn't have Pip Conserve. The thing about the new wands in the Caramel boss, they do now have Pip Conserve. So who knows, it might come in clutch when it comes to PvP, but definitely for a free-to-play player, or maybe just in general, I think some people are going to be switching over to that boss and definitely farming for that wand. And the rate is really low at the moment. And there's only been a couple people who've gotten that wand, but hopefully that rate gets fixed. And obviously the Grizzleheim Spellaments, those are going to be fixed as well because it's too high. So they kind of did the opposite. They made Grizzleheim really easy to get, and then they made the Caramel boss like completely, like you just can't get the wand. We don't know if anything else drops from there, but the main thing that people are looking for is the wand. All the other gear that you get from it is just whatever. I wouldn't really focus on it, but it's mainly the wand that people want from that boss. Another stuff that they added was new gear, and a lot of people got trolled on Twitter because of this. I even got trolled when I actually saw this gear. It's called the Ultimate Wolfen gear that they added. And what are your thoughts about that, Speedster, that they kind of trolled us in a way?
Yeah, I was also kind of disappointed too. I was bamboozled, hoodwinked. I was freaking sad because it looked pretty cool. I like how it glows and junk. I like how the fit of the style is. But now you got to get it through Beast Moon, and you got to get the wand through the Decathlon. Oh, I probably butchered that. But the little deck event that you have. And I really personally don't care for Beast Moon. I tried it a couple times. I just really couldn't get into it. For me, it's like a super extended conquest match from like Call of Duty or Capture the Flag in a way. I just really don't care for, so I personally won't be really going for it. I just don't really have the energy for it. So would you be going for it?
I kind of do and I kind of don't. If you guys tune into my streams, you guys see me trying a Beast Moon. Yeah, it's a pain to learn. And there's not people out there with guides, and people in my chat were telling me to make a guide, but how can I make a guide if I don't know nothing about the thing? So hopefully one day someone makes a guide about Beast Moon and how people can actually get good at Beast Moon, because it's really confusing in my mindset. And there's people out there that know everything about Beast Moon, and congrats to them. But just if you're a new player, it's kind of difficult. The instructions are just not as simple as you would want them to be. And the gear does look amazing. Well, a lot of people, even including me, thought that this gear was going to be dropped by the Grizzleheim boss, but it's completely wrong. I really thought that the Grizzleheim boss was going to drop this because I was really hyped. You know, it looks really sick. It looks like wolf theme, everything like that. It glows, but you actually have to get this from Beast Moon and have to have the crafting recipes for it and everything like that. And you can get that in the PvP arena. And it's a pain. It's going to be a pain to craft if you are trying to go for it. This just shows how much you grind in the game if you do wear this. Basically shows to the people who do grind. And the thing is, you can technically prepare essentially for the reagents, because you can just judge by the reagents that you need in test realm. Whatever reagents you need, you can just prepare yourself in test in actual live realm, because Beast Moon is going currently on in live realm. Whenever this video is out, it should be going on. But you can pre-plan essentially and show how much you grind in the game. And the wand, you can't get it from Beast Moon. You can only get it from Decathlon, and there's gonna be a whole crafting recipe for that as well. Essentially, the wolf gear and the wolf wand, basically it's tough to get. It's essentially like the ultimate Hands of Faith. You have to craft every single school to get this ultimate gear. So same thing for the ultimate wolf gear, ultimate wand, everything like that they added for the wolf wand. You have to craft every single school, including fire, ice, like all the 7 schools, and you have to combine them all into this one piece. It's insane, but there's people out there who have done it for the ultimate Hands of Fate, and there's only a couple people out there, because the KI did talk about on the KI live how many people actually have the wand. There's only a couple people. So hopefully, you know, people are going to continue on the grind. I'm definitely going to try my best to get involved in some sort of way, but it is a pain because Beast Moon is not really fun. For me, it's not really fun, and there's people out there who enjoy it, and I'm glad for them. But just for me, I really want to see some changes to that aspect, because I do grind PvE though. I don't grind Beast Moon. That's 2 different things in my opinion. Hopefully that gets fixed.
I also thought it was going to be dropped in Grizzleheim pack itself. I thought it was just going to be updated pack, but nah.
Like, they completely just trolled us. And it works out because I think that tweet was on April 1st. I wasn't sure if it was, but I think it's on April 1st. So it was kind of half true, half not. True as in there was gear, but falsely because a lot of people thought it was going to be from the boss because the background of those pictures are in Grizzleheim. So a lot of people thought in their mindset, since we know that there's going to be Grizzleheim key bosses due to the KL Life previously, people thought that this gear was going to be dropped by the key boss, but completely not. It was Beast Moon, and definitely I was kind of sad in a way. The last thing that we're going to be talking about are the new spells for the schools. I didn't technically write this on the list of stuff to talk about, but I recently just remembered. So the new spells that they added for schools, such as like Storm got, well, actually every school got in the new Cold Iron spells or the Golem Spells. Basically hits into a set shield for Fire and Ice or whatever school you are. It's going to be like your basic set shield. And these used to be TCs, definitely, and they're not all. TCs are basically bannable in PvP. You can't use them anymore. But they basically made it so since everybody uses this, might as well make it a spell. So they kind of went off the Twitter polls back in the day. If you guys didn't see, they did a Twitter poll in the devs, judging by what spells that they should add. Cold Irons and like the Golem spells were not on the list. They just added that because they knew that a lot of people need these spells. It's just an OP spell. Who knows? One day it might even get to the point where they ban the Golem spells, but I don't think they're gonna do that. But you have to keep them in your deck now instead of your side deck. But who knows? But this spell is actually really good when it comes to PvP, and that's just without me even playing PvP. I know the spell is good. I see every single person use this spell in PvP, so I'm glad that they made it a thing. Another spell that they added for Storm was Stormwing. Stormwing's actually really good too, but I don't think in a PvP or PvE aspect, I mean, no one's going to be using this. And obviously on my end, if you guys see the spells, you guys are going to be wondering, how do you have them maxed out? Like, there's no way, it's test realm. DC's shop was a thing, and basically you can see all the tiers for it. So all these spells that they added, whether it be the death one where it hits into a bubble, or the life one that hits into a bubble, or the myth one that hits into a bubble, I believe Storm obviously got Stormwing. Ice got Thieving Dragon, which basically I think steals the shield and then hits. And then I believe Fire got the Beetle spell, but it's not the Beetle that everyone remembers that basically hits into a fuel. This one hits into an overtime fuel. So it's not the same. And a lot of Fires are kind of disappointed in that scenario because not many people are going to be using that unless you're going for an overtime strat, which I haven't seen anyone go for it. But it's pretty cool that they had Golem spells for everybody and everyone got their own like spell in a way. And I know a lot of people that voted on those polls for PvE saying for life they wanted Life Tornado. Death was supposed to get Monster Mash. So the thing about Monster Mash is that spell, yes, you know, a lot of people wanted that. And just because it was on the poll, that doesn't mean it's going to happen. But for some reason in King DC's shop, I believe I still have the reagent, is that you were able to buy Monster Mash elements. And it, as you guys can see on my screen, I have 590, but it's the wrong picture. It's not the actual Monster Mash picture. It's just a ghoul supplemented. So we know it's going to be 6 pips if they ever add this. And I have spellements, and you guys are going to say, just learn it. You can't. Like, there is no tab for it. There is nothing for it. So I think this was like an accidental thing that they added, but I still got the spellement, so I can be like, hey, I got Monster Mash, but not really. Hopefully one day they'll add it. I don't think they want to add it for this meta. It's a cool spell. I think a lot of people love the animation from Darkmoor and everything like that. It's not a good PvE spell, that's for sure, but it is a good spell regardless. So hopefully one day we'll see Monster Mash make its way into the game, but it will one day, or in some sort of way. And it's pretty good. What do you think about the spell Speedster overall? All the Golem spells, all the spells for every school. What do you think about those?
I think it's really good. I really like the Golem spells for every single school. The reason I like those is because if you notice, the first arc always does weakness, and I think this is a good counter to the weakness that be put upon you when you're questing, especially like doing a boss fight and stuff like that. Especially if you're like Fire, when you fight like a Storm boss, and they happen to like weakness you, because every boss does. You'll be able to use that spell and get a Storm shield and an Ice shield, while you also just got rid of the weakness. Now, also, I seen the balance one. The balance now has like a similar to like Frost Giant. I think it's called Steel Giant, and they got like an overtime now, which is very unique.
Is it an overtime that hits everybody?
I think it hits everybody. I just knew that threw me off though, because balance usually like they have like no overtime, so now they technically have overtime.
Yeah, it's very surprising. And Storm doesn't have an overtime at all. And there's a reason why they don't want to do that. And I've seen multiple videos on it about how they banned Storm Elf in PvP. And that was like basically the spell that everyone used. I mean, yeah, you can use things like transmute or the sun spell to basically get Storm Elf. But at that point, that just clogs up your deck. And I've seen people talk about that. But school doesn't, like, my school Storm does not have an overtime. Maybe one day we'll get an overtime. I think we're the only school that doesn't have an overtime. Am I correct on that, Speedster?
Yeah, I think Life has an overtime. Death has an overtime called Poison. But yeah, it used to be only Balance in Storm. Like Storm had like the Elf, but the Elf like people rate in half. But now Balance legit has the spell when it comes to live run.
Yeah, so I think Storm's basically the only school that doesn't have an overtime. Hopefully that changes one day. I would love to see an overtime for the school, and I can see why people don't want it when it comes to PvP, but then if they want to make one, they should. But I think they want to make Storm more of a glass cannon, and that's just how it always been in questing too. I know the previous meta, obviously if you go in live realm right now, Fire and Storm are basically neck and neck when it comes to who's better at clicking cards and just going through a fight quicker. But definitely in this new update, it's going to be very close. It's going to be very close, and who knows what's going to come up on top when it comes to what school is quicker when it comes to questing. I know obviously I'm going to say Storm, Speedster's going to say Fire. That's just how it is. It's just what you feel like. It's just what you feel like. And definitely the AoEs have made a big change in this update, in my opinion. Hopefully we get to see those 3 new spells. Are the 3 spells that we wanted, like Earthquake, Power Nova, and Snow Angel. Those are the last 3 that I believe that they should be changed. It's like you've updated every single AoE, but you might as well finish the last 3 that we're missing, essentially. And overall, I think this test realm is good. I hope to see some changes within the next few days if they ever do more changes. We don't have any plans of when we know it's going to be released in live realm, so hopefully soon. That's all I can say, soon. I don't know the exact date. You guys will know from Twitter whenever they tweet it out or anything like that. It could, for all we know, it can happen the next week, but we don't know. We aren't like a source of when it comes to it, because no one knows. Not even Awesome the Sauce or like HK or Ferric. Anybody knows the exact date, because who knows, they could do some more testing if they need to, and it just comes down to us players to test out themselves, report the bugs. So if there's issues in this game, if there's issues in test realm, please use the bug icon. Report it as a bug, report it as idea. If you have any ideas, let them know. They do look through this. It's not that they don't, they do, because Raptor has even talked about it, and Magnetic has even talked about him looking through the bug reports or anything like that. So this is like your way of kind of interacting with them. And if you do have an idea, like I said, leave in the comments below and I'll look at them. If you have any thoughts about the test run, be sure to let us know in the comments as well. We do look at the comments and everything like that, or even let us know in our live streams, Speedster streams on YouTube. So definitely you can let him know any ideas, your thoughts about the test run, stuff like that. Or you guys can come to my stream as well, let me know. And we'll try to provide more content like this, more video collabs, because I know Speedster hasn't done a collab with me like since the last podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I believe when it comes to videos.
They want to see more. Yeah, people said they want to see like more videos of us doing like random stuff.
So hopefully, no promises anytime soon, but I mean, hey, we'll try our best. We'll try our best. But you guys will always see us in streams and stuff like that, like together whenever we can, and we'll try to put more videos. We'll try our best and more ideas and stuff like that. And yeah. But if you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all type of stuff. Check out Speedster in the description. Like I said, he's the homie. You're gonna see him here all the time in streams, basically. And whenever it comes to vids, we'll try to record more. So, any last words, Speedster?
Hope you all have a good day. Stay safe out there. And I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, see you guys.